Hey, it's Finnickmit. I'm back with another Palia Tour. I'm here with Tetra Zelda. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I like to do, a little bit of a initial pan around. I like kind of how you framed your place out. That's
Yeah, I
really,
was actually really glad when they added the tree growth because I was able to make the oaks in the front look really mature.
yeah.
But yeah, you'll see it's a lot here, but I'm really happy and excited to show you.
All right, cool. Well, you're my tour guide. Where we going?
Okay, so to start out, we're going to go to the main house, or kind of like the primary residence. So I built these gardens that you'll see in the front before flowers were added a couple months ago.
Oh yeah.
It was quite a interesting challenge to figure out how to fit everything in while also hiding it. It's the sneaky little look. If you look from the top down view, you'll see how I managed to do it. But it was
Oh
just
yeah,
this
I see that.
really, yeah, the little tables and all those things. And it's actually an inspiration I got off of Reddit, but I kind of made it my own by making it like kind of encompassing the entire front of the house instead of just a little bit.
I mean, that's what you got to
And
do. You take the during one of
yeah, you take
my
inspiration from others,
yeah,
which
exactly.
so much of it is from either Reddit or my community or like from just so many different places. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I've kind of
Anyways,
coined a little thing: emulate and then iterate.
yes, that's really good actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we'll walk inside to my first area. Um, I don't really have a name for like my first area. I've been reading a lot of Regency stuff recently, so it's like my formal drawing room or whatever.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that sounds
I
fancy.
very fancy. This is where I bring in the guests who don't know me very well. But I've been like, okay, well, I wanted to have like a bellflower theme and just have like kind of a nice place where you could sit down, eat some snacks, have just like my little um, aquarium out in the front, and just a nice
Oh
little
yeah,
place to kind of just invite people in to just start out with.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I love the colors, the lighting.
Yeah, I have a lot of bellflower, not bellflower, the Zeki lamps for some
Mhm.
reason. So I've sprinkled them in everywhere. So like I really like the one that kind of cascades downward
Yeah.
above the chair.
All right, where to
But
next?
yeah, okay. Um, Next we'll go towards my bedroom, just with the way I have this all laid out.
Oh,
Kind of a big
awesome.
contrast from the bellflower, as you can see.
Yeah.
um, I really kind of like the witchy homestead vibes, so I wanted to kind of have more of a purplish room that had just quite a variety. As you see above my bed, I have all of my trophies. I was looking to see when I got my like all-star bugs and fish, and it was kind of weird to remind myself that I actually got all-star fish back in September. Um, and I will just say it's a pain. It is quite a pain because they do not make it easy to get starred fish.
No, they definitely don't. They definitely don't.
No. And that's something I hope that in the future they can make easier for new players. But that's
Yeah,
something I definitely put into one of my like reviews, whatever they do when they send out those Google
feedback.
forms.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
nice. Like it is quite a contrast from the room that we were just in, but
it
I mean
is.
you pull it off.
Thanks. Yeah, and I also really like the Palcat stuff, so I felt like this room just fit it best because the purple Palcat just kind of fits in.
Yeah.
And I wish I had these lovely cherry blossoms next time around.
Next time around.
I think,
There's always stuff to
I think,
do.
yeah, and I think a lot of us were broke back then, so
Oh,
makes sense.
yes. Totally.
Um, so leading towards this is an ensuite bathroom. I have,
Ooh.
I think, like 9 different people claiming ownership of this bathroom. Anyone who comes in here tends to be like, okay, I'm moving in now. So I have a lot of people here, technically. Um, I personally love the color blue, but I also was like, I really like this wallpaper and I wanted to design a room around it. And it just made sense to kind of have a bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after they came out with the flotsam stuff, it just made it even better because I was able to put in like the shells or the fish. Um,
Yeah, you're right. It does tie everything together. And I don't think I've seen a bathroom use this. Like I've seen this wallpaper being used, but mainly it's being used in bigger room settings. But
Hmm.
kind of how you tied it together in a smaller room with all of the other blues and the flotsam stuff. I mean, that's really cool,
Yeah. And then the
especially with
gold on
that
the floor
flooring
just
too.
kind of ties it all together as well with like the gold accents.
Yeah, it
Um,
does.
yeah, and like I love it. Like one of my favorite memories of this bathtub is it wasn't this bathtub specifically, but we had a whole community thing once where we tried to see how many people could fit in it, and I think we fit 5 people, all
Oh
like
wow.
comfortably, and just chatted for half an hour. It was quite great.
Nice. Yeah, we do silly things like that too. Like we're obsessed with the Bahari geysers.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that. I was so obsessed with the bathtubs that I actually made a second house that was a bathhouse.
Oh, nice.
I actually need to update it because I don't have the other stuff in it, but like the new Ember stuff. But we'll eventually do that. Before we go in there, I'm actually going to take you through my kitchen. There's a reason I'm
Oh,
saving that for later
okay.
because we're going to go back out the front door afterwards instead of the side door that's here. So in my kitchen, as I kind of mentioned, I do really like historical things. So I wanted it to feel really like homely, but also have like some of those historical kind of vibes. So like the brick wall where the fireplace would be so that nothing catches on fire, even though we're going to ignore that the rug is close by.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
No, it's a very well done kitchen, especially with the stations in the center. And I I'm a fan of this particular wallpaper just because it does have like a nice vintage kind of watercolor sort of feel
it
to it.
does. And I find
Yeah.
that some of the wallpapers, the new ones, I struggle with putting up because they're quite vibrant. But this one I found leaving it as an accent and then putting the red around it was nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did have like themed wallpaper, like I had the pumpkin one back here for a while, and then some others, but there's not really a theme out there right now, so it's just the spring kind of open vibes.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
nice.
yeah, and love the coffee maker. So glad they added that in. I need my coffee.
Gotta have a coffee
But yeah,
station, yeah.
I was kind of disappointed with the Zeki stuff like the Zeki quest, thinking that there wasn't anything, and then the coffee maker just showed up one day, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy now.
So are we heading out this the side door or
No,
are
we're
we
gonna go to
going
the
to
library
okay, we're going to
because
the
we'll head out the
library.
front door because of the way I have it set up. But
Nice.
okay, so this is my library, and if I had books, this is where I would hold them. Um,
Yes. We have
but
some
for
books
now,
over
I have
here,
kind of
just not enough
some.
though.
No, there's not enough. I mean, I have this book stand, the makeshift one. That's the majority of my books. Yeah, and so this is just kind of where I put a lot of my sciencey, techie things. I just have like the different types of bookshelves around that have
Oh,
books and scrolls, and just some really nice things, as well as my Phoenix shrine.
excellent.
And when you're done showing off there, I will be waiting in here, which is why we saved this for last.
Ah, let me get
So
my camera
someone in
around
my
here.
community joked because I was like wanting to find somewhere to put them, and someone was like, "You should put all of your portraits in a closet." And I was like, "I like that." And then slowly it became a murder closet somehow. Hence the
It is
knives on the wall. There's a
totally a
knife on
body
the
count,
floor.
you know? I can see that.
So yeah, I've got everyone so far who's romanceable. It used to be closed off, but because of the opening to everyone now, I leave it generally a little bit open.
You know, the
Um,
vibe that I got at first was an escape room, but given the
oh, I
knives,
mean, fair.
yeah.
I get a lot of murder closet vibes from like randoms who come in. But yeah, so this was my primary residence. And then, kind of when you saw that little snippet at the beginning, I have quite a lot of just things around. So we'll go quickly to my gazebo where the witchy vibe continues.
Oh,
Where
awesome.
I've got Tao here, love the floating lanterns from the Halloween, or not lanterns, floating candles from Halloween, able to stargaze. I was taught how to like glitch items onto others, so I managed to get the grimoire onto that little like shelf. But yeah, overall, like,
It's
love
so
this vibe.
wild how much Palia has evolved in just a short amount
It
of time
has, yeah,
with some of the holiday events and everything. And then we have, floating candles around Halloween time
yeah.
and
And
just
then
even,
people like who come on later are like, "Where did you get this?" And I'm like, "Sorry, later, next time."
yeah, especially the stuff from the first Maji market, you know?
Yes. And I also have all of my now flow trees around it. It was like just because of the kind of
The witchy
magic-y
vibe.
vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
They
you.
are very loud though, but they at least add to the aesthetic. Yeah, okay. So then, like, once we go over this little pond here, I took this idea actually from someone you've toured before, Victorique. She's in my community.
Oh, awesome.
So she had this at the front of her house, and I enjoyed how it looked. So we have our own wisteria opening, and then we get to the beginning of my backyard. So that door that you see behind you is where the kitchen was.
Okay.
And I wanted to have kind of a thing to tie the back of the house back to the front. So that's why we have like the garden in the center. I wanted somewhere to put yeah. Learned how to put stuff on presents and really upset I only got one present. It's okay. It's okay. I will survive.
But, I think that those kind of techniques, they inform the developers like what we need next. And I think, in a future update, we'll get building blocks, and I think we'll be able to use those to our advantage.
I hope so too. Yeah, because like if you look at the ground, even I have the chopping block pathways.
Yeah.
And like they're bringing the pathways in eventually, which I'm hoping helps reduce item limit because I'm at item limit right now.
Oh, yeah, I imagine.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have my nice little like backyard eating hangout area with the like when Hodari had his like barbecue, I was like, I need to make a place where they can go and just hang out in the back. And the what is the Paltech? Yes, Paltech items are just so nice to kind of just put here as well. So it just kind of fit the vibe.
If they were alive, of course, right?
Yeah. So before we go towards the other house, we'll go to the one behind you that you're this way.
All right.
Because this is just a very smaller one. So I have my lovely starstones that I'm missing. But I got some of them. I got a large portion. I enjoy mining, so I did that a lot.
Yeah, I do too. It's a good occasionally we'll have resource gathering days where we just go and we mine or chop wood. But what do we have in here?
This originally kind of was a book clubhouse. So our community decided to have a book club where we read a book over a time period. And the first one we read actually was Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which was a Chinese mythology book. So the dragon type stuff felt really good, especially because it was around the Magi market, the second one. And I wanted somewhere to put those stuff anyways, because I just didn't have a place that kind of fit and I didn't want to recolor some of it. So it just kind of now has evolved into a guest house, as you can see with the the bed.
Yeah.
What was that bed again? Sunrise Valley bed.
Sunrise Valley. Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. Do you change? Are you planning on changing this room up like based off of the books that you're reading?
Well, I was the first one. I actually suggested that book, so I ended up hosting it at my house. The second one was suggested by someone else, so I'm not entirely sure where we will host it. We've been meaning to. We're going to do it sometime this next week, and then after that, I might change it. I had originally thought, I want to make this room different every time, but I really like how that came out that I kind of don't want to change it now. So I'm going to leave it like this, and maybe on a second plot, build another room for our book club or something.
Sweet.
Okay.
I like the outdoor lightings too. Like the string lights. Now that people have a little bit more access to them, it's cool to see how people have been incorporating
Side note,
them.
all of these string lights are from when it was bugged out and you were able to get it for like a stone.
Oh yeah.
So I've had these string lights in my house for a while, and I'm actually probably going to switch them to the long ones eventually to help with item limit.
Oh, that's cool. This is cool.
It will definitely. Yeah. So again, this is something someone found online, and then kind of everyone in our community kind of decided to make their own, but a little like cat tree with Zeki waving his paw, and then the other pal cat. To get the stairs to actually fit properly, because of the mounds of dirt, I had to start with a medium tree and then grow it to be the mature.
Oh, nice.
So that it kind of glitched in. But I really like how it came out in the hydrangeas kind of hide it as well.
Awesome.
I also have a nice little like sitting area over here.
Isn't it
This
funny,
used to
like
be like a
the
log.
animation, like, you just kind of like glide into this chair.
Oh, just wait. This one's really funny actually. Just
Oh
gliding
my
in from behind.
gosh, that's funny.
It makes me laugh every time. But I had like a log cabin bench here, and I was like, when this came out, I was like, oh, this is perfect. The amount of like
Yeah,
nice stuff that came with the spring fever, I was like, this is too perfect.
and much more to come too.
Oh man, I'm kind of glad we're doing this now and not next week because it'll be a mess next week
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
the
it's gonna be a
update.
total maze. Yeah, it is. It is kind of it's sometimes bittersweet because people who might have had a tour scheduled for quite a while in advance, all of a sudden it just cancel
Yeah,
because of the update. There's like, I gotta redo everything.
yeah. I already feel like I'm gonna have to redo so much, and I'm probably gonna have to get rid of some of the paths, which hurts me, but to get item limit back down
Yeah.
enough. But yeah, so this is just kind of a back towards my workhouse. You'll see in a minute with like
Okay.
a nice little like porch, my hidden Cernic that I was like, I don't know where to put it, so I put it
Oh, it's
underneath
peaking.
one of
That's
these
fun.
windmills. Um, don't tell the devs, but I have a second windmill, founder windmill. I have one in my
Nice.
bedroom and one here. I don't know how I got it, but I do,
Yeah.
and I'll just take it. I
Yeah.
put it down. But yeah, so we'll go to the front of this house.
Okay. This is
So
separate.
this is yeah separate. So
Oh, that's
originally
one
like
hell of a sight line right there.
um with this new house, and yes, I really like how this looks. Especially even if you look down, you can just see Frogbert staring at you in your soul.
I
There's at
know.
one point where Frogbert was kind of looking into my bedroom, and it creeped everyone out when they walked in. And then I was like, "Look over there! Look out the window!" And they're like, ah. But yeah, this is my work house.
Oh, nice.
Going back to the Regency or like aristocratic. This is my like informal drawing room where I can bring close friends in and stuff like that. And it's kind of also my trophy room in a sense because I have like my nice little trophies from the gardening and everything.
Yeah, that's
I
so
need to
cool.
change out the hunting one. I just realized I just finally got to silver, which I'm so glad with the new stuff.
Oh, you got
Yeah,
multiple
and this is
tiers in
like
here.
where I started to put a build, like a workroom. So I have like my different crafters, and as you see in there, I have my fishing room.
I like how people have been incorporating the plants inside. That's a
Yeah,
nice little find.
yeah. When I found
Maybe,
out, I was like, this works.
yeah, maybe they'll give us some kind of, if they detect, I'm just thinking, code wise, right? If they detected that it's inside of a house, then maybe it's in a
Oh,
flower
I could
pot or
totally
something.
see that, and that would be
Yeah.
disappointing if it was.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so each one of these rooms is dedicated to one of my crafters. So like the fishing one had my like worm farms. I have like my fabric weavers here. I also love really like sewing in real life, so I wanted to have something for myself as well. Like love to cosplay, so I was like, I need something here.
Oh,
And
that's
also, Jell
cool.
was my first like romance character, so I had to give him a nod somehow.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah.
That's awesome.
And then my last one on attached to this house over here is my furnace room, which once the Paltech stuff was added became like wild.
It just
It
makes
was just so
sense.
perfect.
Yeah, it really
Like,
is.
love it.
It works so
And
well
having
with the
like,
existing crafters and everything. And I've
right?
seen lots of
Yeah.
people just have pipes and everything go everywhere. I mean, just give us more
Yeah.
pipes.
And just even having like the kind of glowing ember look, like it makes it feel like this room is alive and like building. And
Definitely.
I'm hoping that wall looks like the furnace wall to you and not the one that was in the previous room because I fixed it I don't know how many times, but it keeps
Yeah.
going back and
Yeah,
glitching.
we've experienced that before. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate, but I'm sure it'll be fixed in a future update. Uh
eventually. It's
and
not that big of an issue, so it's
it
whatever.
is kind of nice though, as I'm panning around the rooms and everything like that. I want to let everybody know, pay attention to the walls and the floors. Those kind of pairings and everything, they can make a huge difference and really kind of brighten or darken a room depending on what kind of look you're going for.
Yeah, I agree. Especially some of the floors that I look at, I'm like, I would never use that. And then somehow I figure out a way to use it. So
Yeah, excellent.
always great.
Where to next?
Anyways, if we go out this way, I'll just do a very quick show of the back of this part of the house. Just
Okay.
there's nothing really back here except for right behind the furnace room. Since I mine a lot, I added some extra furnaces and kind of this is how I learned how to bug things out. Put it into the wall so that it looks like it's attached to the furnaces from the back.
Ah,
Just little
nice.
details. No one would ever really see that, but gives
Yeah,
me something extra.
that's interesting. Cool.
We are reaching closer to the end, but over this way. Last one that
There's
I had to figure out was I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do with my lumber. So I created kind of an outdoor lumber area with like a pile of lumber or like
that's cool.
having the outhouse, having a couple of little like just display things. Yeah, and it makes it feel so much better. This used to be empty and kind of awkward, but now it's like part of everything.
Yeah, it's fun to point those kind of details out too because, when as you're building the layout of your house, I mean, that can just be a whole thing, just like, okay, do I get a small room, medium room, what do I do? What do I play around with? And
Yeah.
then you
And then
end up sometimes with these spaces in between. You're like, okay, well, now what am I going to do with this? And you can do stuff like that. It's kind of cool to
yeah,
show that off.
I'm basically a lot of this outdoor stuff has been from the last two patches. I've really decorated it. Like because they just provided so many new things.
I
As you
I love
see,
this homage to Frogbert.
yes, love the little frog bird. There's a little path like where you can walk up and kind of walk around.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, and I have my hunting like little area here with like the pelts and stuff, and I'm excited to have some more eventually in the future.
I know I've said it like
Um,
so many times, but it's one of my favorite things about Palia is like when you get an achievement, you don't just get like a sticker for it. You actually get stuff that you can use.
yes, and I'm very excited for level 5 for friendship. And this
Oh
is the
yeah.
last kind of like area of my house where, again, I took inspiration from primarily Tori, but I had seen a couple others where I put all of my items together. So obviously we got the fire temple and we've got the
Yes.
wind one over there with the silver wing.
I
But
love the flowers that you like the flowers that you added around it. I mean, I think that made like a huge difference, you know?
yeah, I'm really glad how they came out as well. Like the lilies just feel like I was so happy when they added it because it just adds like extra dimension. Like you can throw a flower somewhere and something that looked awkward before can like now look really full and like nice.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, totally.
Although there was a panic moment once where I logged on and everything had reverted back to its original growth stage. And I'm like, what's happening?
Oh
It
my
was just a
gosh.
visual bug. I reloaded and it was fine, but there was a good moment of solid panic and getting ready to message the devs.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, yeah, what a
Uh-huh.
what a note to end on. We're at the point where we do Q&A. So, where would be the coziest place on your house and plot to do Q&A? One of my favorite things to do for Q&A is just I like to go over, the highlights, right? And for this particular build, I feel like everywhere that I went, you totally emulated Practicore, which is
Nice.
is unique in a way because we don't really have a lot of I guess representation as far as Practicore goes. We have Cluttercore, Cleancore, Eclecticore, but like I feel like everywhere that I looked, everything that you put together, it just had like this nice logic to it. It felt right,
Thank you.
and
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And just the way that you utilize colors, like how you mix the different flowers together, and that last area really just was just, you gave it a sense of mysticism, you know, like just with all the flowers and stuff around it. Like I didn't really talk much throughout the entire tour because your house really just did a lot of the talking for me. I didn't really have to say anything. Um, but otherwise, like very well done, very well executed, and it's always such a big. I take it as a compliment when people get referred to me from other communities. So whoever sent you my way,
No.
tell them I said thank you.
Yeah, Tori spoke very highly of you and your community, so I definitely wanted to check it out. And took me a little bit of courage to sign up and do this, so I'm actually very glad I did. It kind of gave me something to also just motivate myself with this game, because sometimes I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, like especially when you're at the end game, it's like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So it
And
was
then there's
nice to be
another
able
update.
to, yeah. Well, then the next update's going to probably get us all very busy. And hopefully I won't do it in like 2 days like I've done with some of the recent updates.
Yeah, no, I think probably the first question I would have is, if you, I guess we'll actually we'll date this a little bit. So there's going to be another update that's going to be dropping, and most likely will be dropping uh before this video gets published.
Yeah.
What do you plan on doing with the pavilion?
Ooh, yeah. So I've been trying to think of that. I'm going to have to look through my house and figure out what can I take out and kind of one, get me down enough that I can put things in.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the pavilion, what I've been thinking recently is I don't have much utilized behind my gazebo and near the guest house. So I thought it might be nice to have something to do with the pavilion, like attached to the guest house, having some outdoor thing. Um, I actually really like the Emberborn bathtub, but I have nowhere to really put it right now. So I might find somewhere to do it outside.
Mm-hmm.
But again, yeah, I think right now it's kind of just going at the flow. I think I'll have to put something there and make the trees a bit more thinned out than it is now, because it's kind of supposed to like just have like the closed off, like bring your attention to the middle. But yeah, it'll be exciting, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. This was kind of a fun question I asked during an earlier tour, but I'll ask it now. If you were to receive a gift from an NPC, what would that gift be, and which
Oh
NPC
no.
would it be?
Oh no. I have not thought about this.
Well, that's the whole point of Q&A. I like to throw side curveballs.
My head goes immediately to Dell. Even though he's not my favorite romanceable character anymore, he still, like, I love his vibe. I love how he is like the, it's not the word, the seamstress is feminine, but like he seamster, I guess is the word.
Yeah. Right.
And he just has all that stuff. And when I go upstairs, like in his house and like see his bedroom and stuff, I really would love some more like sewing things. So like if it was like a sewing machine or something, just because like I said earlier, like that's one of the crafts I really like to do. And I was ecstatic the day that I got the little sewing box. It was just like one of my happiest moments. And then I ended up making like 5 and putting them around my house.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, I think that's something I would really want from one of the NPCs.
How powerful would it be, like, and this is just kind of a, you reminded me of something, like how powerful would it be in Palia if we actually did have specializations? Because right now, I mean, most people can get to a certain level, within a short amount of time for the base skills. But if we actually had specializations where people could craft furniture, and they could, you could only get furniture, like these certain types of craftable furniture from, people, you'd have to trade or something like that. Obviously we'd need some kind of system like that. But on that same token, being able to craft specialized clothing, you know what I mean? I mean, that would be such a huge thing. It wouldn't really, it would be purely cosmetic. It would stay in that same realm, but I just think that would be something that would be cool. Just kind
No,
of,
I totally agree. Yeah. I feel like that's something that they probably won't implement for a while just because of the complexity.
yeah, it's
But
very
I know that
complex
one of
thing.
the biggest things I hear in the building community is the desire to have more color variants. So, like,
Right.
going into Sabira's room, I get a little jealous because she has some really nice things.
Yeah.
Or even like being able to place small items on like the front of the closet or stuff. Like she has, I think, a shirt hanging from her closet, and I'm like, well, I would love to do that. Or
Yeah.
even just having little things like the jams, like things. I'm very excited for that. I know that it's a very powerful thing to be able to just create and represent yourself. Like I see it since I do teach young children how to sew and how to do some textile crafts, and just seeing even some kids who would never want to do it getting excited because it's something that they can make and then kind of like show off. So it's kind of a similar thing, even though this is a virtual, it's really allowing um, for people's creativity to come out. And like, I feel like it'd be way more insane if we were able to really customize things. Like the
Yeah.
amount of like inspiration everyone has would be quite amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I'll end on an easier question. So we have activities that we do with friends, which is, hunting, foraging, cooking, fishing, those sorts of things. If there was an activity uh, that you think we're missing in Palia, like what would that activity be?
We should make a petition to bring back hot pot.
Well, okay, hot pot is obviously that's a no brainer. But what else other than hot pot? I mean,
I mean, I
I
would just
walked right
love
into
more.
that one.
I will probably voice the things as well of because my community has a lot of pre-alpha and alpha. They talk about how there was a lot more community-based things. So I would love to have some more like just events that we as communities can hold. Like my community leader held a what's it called, a scavenger hunt,
Mm.
which caused us all to get very competitive. So much so that I'm still accused as a cheater because I bought a Dari clove instead of finding one in the wild. Um, so
This
I
is
think that's, I
documented,
think
by the way.
that's okay. They all know it. They accuse me of cheating all the time. Um, but yeah, I think that's one thing that this game really lacks. Like I'm really glad actually that they have brought in the hunting incentives now, even because I feel like we've been slowly hunting more as a group instead of just going out and just finding some baby sernix to just go down and shoot. Instead, we're like coordinating, like, okay, we're gonna get this disco deer now, and we're gonna all like two of you are gonna use like slow down, and two of you are gonna use the spell, and we're gonna get it done and everything.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that is
think
really
we
cool.
went really roundabouts in your question, but I think that's
No, I think that's fantastic though. I mean, because for an MMO, it does feel very barren in terms of community things. I mean, we have our small parties, and you can get together with multiple people and cook something together, but there's nothing really that actually in the game binds people together. Because I think there's probably a lot that they have in their backlog leading up to sort of the community type
yeah,
tools that they're going to add. Because I would love, for example, I would love just to have um, a community locked server. You know,
yeah,
just if you're doing a community day, I mean, you can only fit 25 people in there, but if you're in the community, then like you can, that's where you land. It'd be
yeah.
so
No, that would be great.
so
Or just
awesome.
with the same idea, the community like house, like where you can go and everyone can build. Like I know we can right now
Yeah,
build on each other's plots, but we can't really give people items.
I know
So
that
it's
would be
just
so
kind of going
nice.
there and tweaking things and helping that. But it'd be lovely to like be able to really like a lot of MMOs have that kind of idea of like being able to go in here. We're gonna have a community chest and stuff like that. So hopefully in the future.
Yeah, hopefully in the future, definitely. Well, Tetra, thank you again so much for having me out, and like I said, give the people that referred you my way a big thank you as well. And those of you who are
Yeah.
watching, don't forget to like the video, follow me for more Paleo tours, and there's a lot to process about this video. Let me know in the comments like what was your favorite part, and I always encourage people to participate in the Q&A as well.
Thank you for coming over, and I'm glad that I was able to show off something that I've spent a labor of love on. So
Yeah. All right, everybody. I'll see you all for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.